Um, my work is very much about journeys. I think because I came from from Natal, sorry, and came up to Joburg to seek my fortune. And I grew up on a farm where I saw a lot of the young men did a similar thing, where they would get to a certain age and then they would also leave to come up to Igoli to seek their fortune. And I would imagine that most of them did end up on the mines. When I first came to Joburg, the mines and the mine shafts dominated Joburg. Wherever you went, there were mines dotted around. And in a way, it's a sadness because our images of Joburg have always been gold mines, and yet they are disappearing. They're becoming a distant memory. I have a fascination with history, and I have a fascination with archives. So what I like to do is I like to spend time in archives. And for this particular series, which was called, where I entitled it City of Gold, I found a lot of archival photographs of the miners, the indentured labourers, the mines. I then was very fortunate in the sense that I got an opportunity to visit a disused mine site. And I took a lot of photographs of the mine and the mine site. And so this body of work that I've been working on, which is actually metal sheeting, it's called mild steel. And it's a very long and it's a very laborious process, and it's a very experimental process. So what I've done is I've taken the image, in this case it is an archival image, and I have, using wintergreen and photostats, I have managed to transpose the image onto the metal sheeting, and then working with a process called encaustic, which is actually an ancient process. It was used during Greco-Roman times, and they used it predominantly for funereal portraiture. Essentially what it is beeswax mixed with damar resin. And what you do is you heat it up, and then you put it onto your surface of your work surface. In this case it's the metal, and then it turns opaque. But it's an alchemical process, and for me alchemy is it's the mysticism, it's the magical part of this whole process of painting, of creating. So what you do is you take your blowtorch and you work across the surface and it becomes translucent. I then take my oil pigment and I work on that surface with my oil pigment. It's then another layer of wax and then another layer of pigment. So essentially what's happening is that oil pigment is being caught between these layers of wax, and as a consequence the surface almost vibrates or almost shimmers, because those little particles of oil pigment are actually not sitting on the surface but sitting between these layers of wax. And for me, that is the excitement of using this process. It also is a process that I don't have a lot of control over, because with the melting of the wax, everything moves and shifts. So it starts to resonate and starts to take on its own process, which for me is part of the excitement. So I have put this series together on these on the mines, and I have then extended this whole story, this whole process. And it really is a thread, a common thread that runs through my work. It's like, if you could visualize that my work is like a string, and each series that I do is like another bead that I put on that string. And it's all part of this journey of mine, which is about not only the journey that I'm going on, exploring these various ideas and stories, but it's also my own personal journey. It's my physical journey, my emotional journey, and my spiritual journey. So I think we're all on a journey, and in our own way, and I can truly say that I'm loving my journey.